We are live here. It is Off the Bench here for our midweek update, and there is a lot going on in college football. Apologies, we did have to push the show from yesterday to today, and we all fully expected to have Pops this morning or today, but it didn't happen. He's hung up on a flight in Charlotte, North Carolina, and will not make it for the show here today. But
Heard they gave him some money to stay in Charlotte.
that is only alleged. That's alleged.
I don't know how much money they would have to offer me to stay in Charlotte, but more
Hey,
power
I
to
stayed
Pops.
there on a flight. When we flew back from Jamaica. We were there for about 8 hours, and they delayed the flight twice. Couldn't find a flight crew. They eventually gave the flight crew to Birmingham's flight, and having to just keep waiting. I didn't know we were going to get back that night.
Completely I'm a rant for 13 seconds.
We start the show.
How in the world do we screw up the aviation and airport situation as much as we have? Like, how do we not know how many people are working and what time the plane is supposed to leave and is supposed to land and how long it takes to get all you people off of the plane?
It gets bad.
Like, why would we even
Now that we're in the holidays too, it's even worse.
Don't ever overbook a plane. Make them all non-refundable. Sorry, sucks. If you want to fly, buy the plane ticket. And if you don't show up, guess what? That seat's empty. Congratulations, we saved a little fuel. We're leaving. We're leaving at 3:07. Like, because it's random times, you know. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. I apologize. If you'd like to start the show back over, you're more than welcome to.
Dylan hitting us up on YouTube, all about the U.
The U.
Oh, we already got a U standpoint from in here. As I guess he hasn't seen my bracket that we put up on YouTube before the show. So we both posted brackets before the show of our playoff prediction that's on Facebook right now. If you have not seen them, I have the U losing in the first round to Texas A&M, who is my winner in the prediction of the college football playoff.
One of us posted a bracket. The other one apparently bumped their head on the way and allowed their fingers in their pocket to pick who was going to win games. I'm not going to say who. We're pointing any fingers.
As you predicted the Georgia Bulldogs to win the whole thing. Now, this is going to be separate from our Pick'ems contest. This has nothing to do with that. If we have a change of heart tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, is I guess we are going to have our picks at the end of the show for Alabama and Oklahoma, but Saturday morning will be totally separate, and we will do Pick'ems that day as well. As Pick'ems is posted on our Facebook page as well. Okay, so moving into the show, deeper into the show here today, we have to start looking at the Alabama-Oklahoma playoff and what is actually going to happen. We saw this game being played just a couple of weeks ago, and Alabama threw the game away. And it's not like,
Literally.
Alabama had 3 turnovers. Oklahoma forced those turnovers. That was completely what happened in that game, to where it into the whole thing. There really no playback for Alabama. They have nothing to hit back against Oklahoma. Will we see something different on Friday night in the Lights in Norman, Oklahoma? DeBoer has his chance to end this 2-game losing streak against Venables. We always talk about that DeBoer has this really great streak against these top-level coaches, Kirby Smart, Steve Sarkisian, Dan Lanning, yet he cannot get past Brent Venables, and there's nothing saying he can't, okay? There's just been bad games played against Oklahoma the last 2 years. So can we see something that'll change that tomorrow night?
You've got this defense with Venables. He's always been great at defense. That has always been his bread and butter. The offense is ferocious at best. On its best day, this offense could beat a high school team.
And the whole thing is because it's been figured out so much that, everybody keeps posting these things of, well, Alabama's been so good throughout the season at, passing the ball, passing the ball, not running the ball, but it's lopsided.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning of the season, they were great. They were phenomenal at it.
Mm-hmm.
In this last month of the season, where, of course, going into the month, Alabama was really one of the favorites to win the whole thing in college football, and that's changed because the passing game has just completely fell off a cliff. And so, yeah, they're ranked number 21 in passing offense in the country, but not the last month.
No. And so you do have to try to get some sort of run game going a little bit. You've got to hold on the ball. This defense is – there was this whole thing a few years ago about South Carolina's or Virginia Tech always blocking punts and everything. They taught that. It just doesn't magically happen that your team is really good at blocking punts. That was a whole situation with their training, their practicing. They practice that to block punts. This Oklahoma team practices and tries to take the ball from you every chance you can. You see it sometimes in the NFL now. The punch outs has become a bigger deal in the NFL in the last couple of seasons. Oklahoma has figured out how can we do this in college and has really attempted to do that. I saw a tweet earlier today that I liked and followed, and they were discussing the Oklahoma-Alabama playoff game. And they were looking at what Alabama was missing in the Georgia game. Because the Georgia game is the only ugly game Alabama's played. You can say what you want about Florida State at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of the season. There was some lack of hustle, but the offense looked great on the first drive. You know, the defense, we only held them to 20-something points. It wasn't some just lopsided, ugly game. The Georgia got a little out of hand. This is what Alabama was missing in that game. The first and third string running back and the second string running back was hurt. The first and second string left guard, the second most important player on the field, not the most important, not named Ty Simpson. The first string tight end, first string center was playing hurt. The second string center was out. Both first string cornerbacks, the first string nickelback, the second string was hurt. The first string inside linebacker, the leading tackler, was out, and the first string defensive end was out. That's 8 starters over a third of the lineup. 40 lost mid and 4 lost mid game. If Alabama is healthy, which is a huge if, I mean, it is the biggest if there is, they win this game. If they can hold on to the ball. Because Oklahoma's offense has shown you all season they cannot put up a substantial number of points. The first team to 21 wins this game.
Look, I mean, I understand that. I've heard the 21 number thrown around all week. And, big props to our friends over here at Alabama Crimson Tide on YouTube. They posted this thing, a couple hours ago, really breaking down who is going to be able to play in this game. Ty Simpson, apparently he's healthy. I beg to differ. I think he's had a back problem the last couple of weeks.
Body or mind?
Body. Okay. I think that mind is a whole nother thing with Ty Simpson. I have said for weeks, it's something in his head. He cannot get it right. He's thinking about it too much. He's trying to aim, and it just has not gone well. It did not help that Jan Miller was out. It did not help that half of our line was out. Okay. But back to the graphic that our friends over at Alabama Crimson Tide on YouTube posted earlier today. Ty Simpson's healthy. Jan Miller is back. Josh Cuevas, he's going to be back. A huge important piece for this Alabama offense. Cuevas has been the check down mark. He's been third down. He's been everywhere on the field for Alabama. When they need him, Ty Simpson finds him.
Yes.
Okay. We need Cuevas in this game. Cam Newberry, he's healthy. Parker Brailsford, another huge important piece of this offensive line, who's going to be back tomorrow night. Brailsford sets the tone for the whole offensive line, okay? He needs to be able to eat up those middle blocks.
Absolutely.
So that Jan Miller can get past Kevin Riley, Daniel Hill, Ty Simpson can get past the line and into that second level. Brailsford, it starts with him. Dijon Lee, he's back, okay? Dijon kind of been quiet this year, okay? But he's another corner that can set that stone and be the cornerstone on that defense. Jefferson, he's back. One of the best players we've seen on defense this year.
Yep.
Justin Jefferson, Bray Hubbard, those two pieces on defense have held teams this entire year. Okay. And these last couple weeks, it's been questionable with both of them on how they're performing. Quay Russo, another linebacker who's back. So we're seeing a lot of this taking shape on who is back for Alabama in this game. Another important piece that still nobody really knows what's going on to because it's an illness, LT Overton. We just don't know what to expect. Is he going to be there? It looks like he's still out, but toward the beginning of the week, it looked like he was coming back. What is this illness that LT Overton has that he can't perform?
I have heard, this was a rumor from a rumor from a rumor, that it's mono. And allegedly, I didn't know this.
That makes sense.
Mono, apparently, in 20-something-year-old kids,
Yeah.
is like a huge deal. That if they get like hit, like in, it's like really, really, really dangerous. I don't know. Definitely not. Let me tell you where I got my doctorate degree. Yeah, nowhere. But but you know what's crazy though? You say that is hurt as this defense has been over the last 4 weeks, going back to I'll even go further than that. LSU, we gave up 9 points. Oklahoma 23, way too many field goals. Eastern Illinois 0, Auburn 20, and then we gave up 28 to Georgia, that last touchdown, if you really want to count it. But they've still held, even hurt, they've held teams in the low 20s, So that's why I think that 21 number is such a big deal. This comes down to a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
Can Alabama hold onto the ball? And can Ty Simpson and Mr. Hollywood, the former 17-year-old greatest wide receiver to ever walk the sideline of Bryant-Denny Stadium, get out of their heads?
So for me in this game, and I understand what you're saying, the turnovers have to be limited for Alabama. Okay, and Alabama has to force those turnovers. You remember, right? Alabama at one point in this season, they were leading the SEC in turnover differential, and that's changed. It's flipped on its head the last couple of weeks, right? Okay, Ty Simpson has thrown more picks. The list goes on for the issues that have happened over the last month for Alabama. On top of this whole thing where, Michigan still thinks they're in play for Kalen DeBoer, but he's come out and made a statement saying he's not going, but Michigan thinks they're still in there. And, this whole thing is now surrounded about, well, Alabama win or lose, right, is going to depend on the future of Michigan football. Could that happen? I think there's enough push for that to happen.
There's enough smoke.
There's enough smoke to be lingering around the program possibly. So there's a lot of stuff that is following Alabama in this, okay? Alabama, they have to force turnovers in this game to win this game, okay? You have to do what Oklahoma did against you in your home stadium, in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Another thing, it's Ty Simpson versus John Mateer, okay? And at one point, we would sit here and say this was going to be 2 Heisman candidates.
Oh, yeah, eight weeks ago.
8 weeks ago, and it's just no longer the case. Mateer with his thumb injury, Ty Simpson, just whatever happened to Ty. But in the same point of, now we're looking at a situation where we have 2 quarterbacks that are really almost playing on an equal level playing field. Mm-hmm. John Mateer's never going to play like he was at the beginning, at what we thought he was going to be. Like I've reiterated the last couple of weeks, John Mateer's never going to be that type of guy again. Ty Simpson can be that type of guy, but he has to have the pieces around him to work. If these injuries get hammered out like we think they will, then we can safely say that we can expect that Ty Simpson's going to get this back. Also, another point to that, the mono situation, if that is true, I've had mono before. It ain't fun. It can show up at very weird points.
Mm-hmm.
One day you're fine, the next you're not. 1 second you're fine, the next you're not. So if it is mono, I completely understand him being out. At the same time, it could very easily be passed if that's the illness to another player on the field.
Right. So you have to keep him almost quarantined.
Almost quarantined in a way if it's active in his system. I mean, they label it the kissing disease.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know that's not happening during the game, but any kind of saliva transfer, I don't know if it goes to sweat. Maybe we should get on a doctor on the show to talk about this.
If you have one, please call 1-800.
That's not a real phone number. Please do not call that. But Alabama has to get these injuries hammered out. I think they are doing this. Vegas has kind of flipped this in a way. 1.5 favored Alabama until just, I think, a couple of hours ago, and now it's 1.5 favoring Oklahoma, and that's because a lot of people, well, that's allegedly because a lot of people are betting for Oklahoma in this game.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I will push back slightly on something you said. I'm not as upset with the picks, the interceptions that Ty is throwing, as long as it's not a pick six at your own 20-yard line.
Yes.
If he's making an effort, it's 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, and he's throwing a ball down the field and it gets intercepted, but we're pushing that limit, that line.
If we get over the 50-yard line,
amen.
I mean, if we get over the 50-yard line, if Bama can get over the 50-yard line in this game and not perform like they did in their last game, it shows, it just pushes you to have this, it pushes the game to be closer. And because if Alabama can actually get their offense rolling in this game, there has to be an effort made. If we saw last week again, not last week, but the last game again, maybe we do want DeBoer to go to Michigan.
Well, even you need to get past the 50 just to give your defense a beat and a half to take a break and get a little Gatorade in them and kind of tweak their game plan a little bit from time to time. The 3 and outs will kill you.
Yeah.
Three and outs in a row, and your defense is now gassed. I don't care what you say; they're going to be tired. Their brain's not working as good. So you need a couple of those first downs. This game is going to be played a lot, in my opinion. I hope I'm wrong here. A lot between the 35 and the 35. There is both teams' defenses, if they're healthy, are really good defenses. We know Oklahoma's offense is subpar right now. Alabama's offense has looked subpar for the last couple of games.
Yeah.
Exclude the Division 17 Eastern Illinois that we won. So if this game is played between the 35s, once again, you cannot have those turnovers. If you get to the 50 and you throw an interception down to the 9-10 yard line, that's better than a punt.
Yeah.
I don't care. Your kicker's not putting them consistently down to the 9-10 yard line, as much as you would love them to. So I'm not as mad at the interceptions. Now, the pick sixes, we on our own 20-yard line, not a great look. Why we're even playing this game Friday night is because we threw a pick six. If Alabama beats Oklahoma 5-6 weeks ago, however long it was at this point, Alabama's probably at home hosting Tulane.
Yeah.
James Madison.
I mean, the Oklahoma game, just like last year, it flipped everything around.
Right.
From what could have been, because until that game. So, and looking at the statistics in this game, Alabama does need to pass in this game. Okay. Compared to, the running for Alabama has not worked all year. And I get it. You don't want to abandon the run, but at some point
you need to abandon the run. At some point
you need to, and this is screaming at the TV every game for the past 4 games. Okay, I get it. We can't run the ball. Why try? Now, you don't want to completely abandon it, but at some point when it just doesn't work and you're getting a yard a carry, okay, on average, because I think that's literally what it has been. It's a yard or 2 a carry on average. You have to abandon that. Okay, -3 against Georgia. That was the rushing numbers.
I'm going to look into the camera and I'm going to talk directly to Ty Simpson. Please listen to me. Please. As a fan, as a brother, as a true loved one, if you don't go to the line of scrimmage and run the daggum play that was called by your coach and quit audibling on every daggum play, this is me trying to be YouTube friendly and not use the language I want to use, please just run the play. The guy up in the booth is smarter than you and gets paid a lot of money to call plays.
He hasn't been on the booth.
It's true. He's down the sideline.
He's been on the sideline, yeah.
Him and his Lululemon bag.
That's Kane Womack.
That's Kane Womack.
Oh my God,
sorry.
Richie.
I'm
okay.
having, sorry, it's been a day. The guy on the sideline and the guy up top that's looking at it, and the guy that we call head coach that may be at Michigan next week, they get paid a lot of money to call plays. Run the daggum play.
I mean, you're right. It seems like Ty does switch it up every time he rolls the line of scrimmage. I mean, he breaks that. He runs that clock down to 0. And I've got to tell Pops he's getting it off. It turns out fine. Just let it roll. But we're wasting 1 to 2 timeouts during the game because of this. Well, we're going to need those timeouts late.
And why? Can you?
I don't know why we're holding the ball that long in the line of scrimmage.
Is it we're not getting a bunch of false starts by the defense?
No.
If that was the case, I'd be all for it. If we were Utah and every time we got offsides on 3rd down, we jumped around and screamed and threw things in the air. cool, awesome, go for it. But it just looks like he's trying to overthink the guys that get paid a lot of money to think.
I mean, I get the trust in Ty Simpson. He's doing fine. He was doing fine with it
Right.
up until a month ago, but you just don't have it now. That's something up with whether it's something in your head.
This Oklahoma game was the start of that.
Yeah.
Because they even made that big deal about, they know our signs and everything. And there was that whole sign stealing conversation that was happening around this Oklahoma game just a month and a half ago. And it has gotten into his head. He's going to the line and like immediately calling one audible and then waiting until there is like no light left in the 1 second on the play clock to hike the ball, which is making DeBoer think I need to call a timeout, which this would be a conversation that we would have with some sort of like way more professional than me about how often is it worth calling that timeout and not taking the 5-yard penalty.
I think that's the difference right there.
Yeah.
How many times could Alabama have taken that 5-yard penalty instead of that use that timeout, which they're going to need for the end of this game? Okay, if you want to be competitive in this game, you're going to need those timeouts down in the stretch.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a 30-yard drive where we have no timeouts, or a 30-second timeout where we have no timeouts. We're sitting on our 2-yard line.
Yeah, like we've. Hi, Bryce Young. How are you doing?
We don't have Bryce.
Yeah, we don't know. Is a timeout worth 5 yards? I would love to see the stats on.
Guys, let us know what you think. Is a timeout worth 5 yards? Just leave a comment on the YouTube side, and of course we'll get to him here in just a second. But
would you take the 5 yards and save the timeout?
I think there's times I would have taken the 5 yards,
especially in like the first quarter or the first half of the game.
It's 3rd and long already.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're sitting, it's 3rd and 20.
What's 5 more?
That's what I'm saying.
Now
I get it. Those are valuable yards. I get it.
But 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, we're probably going to get a first down. You're calling a timeout to get a first down at that point.
Yes.
You're not calling a timeout to save 5 yards.
3rd and short into a 3rd and long.
Right.
But if you already have that 3rd and long and you're already at 3rd and 20 3rd and 20 territory, 3rd and 15 territory, go ahead and take the 5 yards.
Definitely don't do it on first down.
No. Take the 5 on first.
Like, we've got all these statistics out there of when you should go for it on 4th down and everything. There's got to be somebody who's ran the numbers on whether you should call the timeout or take the 5-yard penalty.
I understand it. I completely understand it. So more information about this game. Okay, so total pass defense wise. Okay, Alabama top heavy at 6, 31st with Oklahoma. Alabama needs to pass in this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
100%. They can't run the ball. Oklahoma has the 5th running defense in the country.
But you need your running backs as part of that. Like I've said multiple weeks.
Keep Jay Miller's that backfield pass catch threat.
Your running game is not turn around and hand the ball to Jam.
No.
Your running game is Jam, sneaks out the side and you hit him for 5-10 yards.
And that's fine. If we're going to abandon the part of the run game where we're physically handing the ball off, move it to a pitch, move it to a screen out of the backfield, some kind of end around, wildcat play. I'm fine with it.
We watched a game Saturday between 2 great teams play the option.
Mm-hmm.
Ty can run the fire out of the ball.
Yeah.
Jam can run the ball. I've seen him do it. I promise you, I've seen Jam run the ball.
The end of the Georgia game, he was obviously hurt. He could not run the ball.
Valid point. Other than injury, I have physically, with my own 2 eyes, watched Jam Miller run a football.
And it's great when he is healthy. When that line is healthy, Jam Miller can rock it out of the backfield.
Can we not get a little pit? Can we not get a little option? Just a
pitch option. And I am so tired of Alabama calling these.
Just say it.
What will we call it? These complete out of the box mystery plays. Let's do a flea flicker. Let's do this special type of play. It doesn't need to happen, especially when it's called, because Grubb calls it on 3rd down.
Right.
Okay. And you want to try to get fancy on a 3rd down defense. Okay. It doesn't work.
Oh, yeah. I love a great flea flicker.
I do too.
It's one of the greatest trick plays in the history of college
football. It needs
football.
to be situational, and you have to support, back at the beginning of the season, we were using, offensive lineman name, big old offensive lineman.
Proctor.
We were using Proctor in the running game. Okay. But every game it was getting more expected. When it happened in the Georgia game, it wasn't expected.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was the element to surprise with that trick play. And it worked. Okay. And then moving forward.
Yeah.
Every game after that, Proctor, I think, touched the ball 2 or 3 more times.
It was 3 out of the next 4 games.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we made jokes about over under 1 touch for Proctor.
Exactly.
And,
right.
And it hit the over multiple times.
And Grubb knew how to use that play.
Right.
Grubb used it strategically great. Okay. But after a while, it got stale.
Right.
Okay. He used it at the right moments. We're seeing these fancy plays, but we're not seeing it at the right moment. I know when Grubb knows when the right moment to use it is, but you have to use that as an element of surprise. Okay. Obviously, if you pass the ball 10 times in a row, they're just going to give up on the run.
And you know when would be a great time to call a trick play like that? Next week in the Rose Bowl against Indiana, not
don't
Friday night.
Don't call this yet.
No, I'm just saying it would not be Friday night in Norman, Oklahoma. It would be a great time to call it in the Rose Bowl against Indiana.
Keep these trick plays under wraps.
Right.
Just you want to take a game off the trick plays? Let's do it.
Go out and actually play football against Oklahoma Friday night.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night.
You want to play nose to the grindstone?
We are 24 hours away from halftime.
Kickoff. Yes, 24 hours away from kickoff right now.
Like, I forgot that it's like a 7 p.m. kick.
So in Alabama and Oklahoma, these are the 2 Wildcats at the college football playoff because they don't run the ball well.
Right.
Neither of them do. Every other team in the playoff runs the ball well.
There's you a trick play. Throw a Wildcat out there. We hadn't done that in.
Put Jam at quarterback. Put Proctor at quarterback. I'm lining up a new play here that they can't use because it's now expected. Put Proctor at quarterback. Yes, because
Oklahoma's listening to this podcast right now about.
Yes, yeah. Proctor, you wanted to pass the ball at the beginning of the season. All right, let's do it. You're going to pass the ball laterally to Ty Simpson. Jeremy Bernard's going to go down the sideline for a touchdown.
Oh, I love it. Because if you put him in at Wildcat,
who is going to expect a pass from Proctor?
I'm not sure how many fans are in Norman, Oklahoma tomorrow night, how many the stadium holds, but everyone plus the 99 people wearing Oklahoma helmets are all going to think he's running, and then
Proctor
all of a
passes.
sudden, a jump pass. He don't even have to throw it to Ty. A jump pass to Jam Miller.
Or, let's say Proctor lining up at quarterback, okay? Simpson, Proctor's going to be under center.
Yeah.
Proctor under center at quarterback.
Good.
No, under center at quarterback, okay?
Yeah.
Ty Simpson's going to line up as the running back.
There's your flea flicker. Yeah.
Ty Simpson's going to run out for a pitch play. Like an off tackle, off tackle toss, right? Okay.
He's right-handed. So
all he's got to do, I want Jam on the other side. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. So Proctor gets the ball, snap or fake push over to Jam on the right.
Okay.
Real toss over to Ty on the left. I want Jeremy and I want Williams on the sidelines.
Just run.
Not on the sidelines, but outside the numbers. Yeah. Okay. Just run.
Just as fast as you can.
Ty gets the open receiver. I mean, there's
That's
just
almost as crazy as your bracket.
I know. The element of surprise has just not been used like we saw at the beginning of the season. And I do want to credit a lot of success to Alabama toward the beginning of the season because they used it and they used it in strategic ways. But Grubb has completely lost that ability towards the end of the season. 2 months ago, we were sitting here and saying Alabama's a national championship favorite.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we've completely fallen off the rails. A lot of it due to injury. Ty's mental, whatever's going on mentally with Ty. So in Grubb's play calling, I think Grubb's play calling has been a huge mishap for Alabama these last couple of months.
Something's amiss. And I have been a huge Kellen DeBoer supporter from day one. I think he was handpicked by Nick to take over. I do think he's the best coach available. You can say what you want about Lane. That's a whole, that was a whole 3 weeks ago. Something's been amiss. And as an Alabama fan, I want to sit here and hope that it was the injuries. And now I want to hope that we're healthy and that I don't have to worry about that. when you then think about the winner of this game goes to the Rose Bowl, is a huge deal. As an Alabama fan, I mean, it's in the damn song. It's there. Indiana's without their best defensive lineman. They've never been there. You know, they've always said you got to learn how to win the game, you got to lose the game, and Indiana's never even been to the game to lose it. Not in our, not in the.
They've never been to the CFP either.
And I don't remember the last time Indiana played in the Rose Bowl. I'm sure it was in the 60s.
If they have, well, it used to be Big Ten and Pac.
Yeah, Pac-12.
Right?
So I
don't know how long Indiana's been in the Big Ten.
Were
they a founding member?
I want to say, yeah.
I think they have. I think they are.
Yeah. So they've been there.
They've been there.
So they've had to play the Rose Bowl at some point.
They had to have.
But you've got to go out there. There's a huge difference, in my opinion, in going to Norman, Oklahoma, and playing Oklahoma in front of their fans on a Friday night, and then a week and a half later going to the Rose Bowl. That is the game you want to get to. You got to just go out there and play football, win the game, beat them up on the line of scrimmage, hold on to the daggone ball, and move on. This is March Madness. Win and move on. It ain't got to be pretty. You ain't got to write home to mom about how the game was. Win and move on.
All right, guys. Pick'em's going to be at the end of the program here at the end of the hour. We're going to go through, do a special midweek update Pick'ems. But Alabama, Oklahoma tomorrow in Norman. First round of the college football playoff. I'm very much excited for this game. I have not seen Alabama play in playoff football at a home stadium of another team. We've never seen that,
right? As
Alabama fans, right? Oklahoma's never seen it. To their point, really, they never have seen playoff football because they've never been to the CFP,
right?
So they're going to get a lot in the first one in action, and they get to be at home, which is an incredible sight to see. I love these home games being played in the college football playoff. There's been a lot of push recently as well. Not necessarily to get rid of the bowl games, although that has been a push as well.
Oh, really? I thought I was told.
Richie, I do not want to hear.
I was told how amazing the bowl games are, and I'm going to sit and watch all the bowl games.
Not by me. I'm not pushing this, okay? But there's been a push for these first round. Okay, the first four are at a disadvantage now, so they're saying because they're in a neutral site, they think they should get home field advantage as well.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, first of all, back up. I was right. January 1st, 1968 was the last time Indiana played in the Rose Bowl.
So they haven't played in 60-something years?
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while. Been a minute. 57 years.
57? Yeah, 57. Okay.
No, it'll be 58 because the game's on January 1st.
You're right, yes.
Sorry, I can do math. First of all, we got to go to 16, but that's a whole nother story. The first 8 needs to be on campus. And then I think once you do that, then when you get down to the 4, you can stick with this bowl game scenario that we have. I think that solves that problem a lot. You keep the big 6 bowl games. You keep the national championship rotating. Had a whole conversation with somebody about a week ago, actually, about the best way to solve this bowl game scenario is no longer 6-6. You got to be 7-5 to play in a bowl game. That would get rid of about 12 bowl games that don't really matter anyway.
Well, and I hate to say it because I am a fan of bowl games. I like that there are a lot of bowl games. I do. It gives us some variety. It gives us a lot of team to watch in the month of December. But I can understand there being too much. And it looks like what we have right now is a lot of quantity, but not a lot of quality within the bowl games. Okay, which is forcing people to jump out. And there's no fix that I've heard presented. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I've seen no fix presented to actually fix this situation where teams are opting out. I don't see an incentive to put it in there unless you completely switch up the calendar and say, okay, here's what you could do. What I've heard presented, and I absolutely hate this idea. I don't think there should be a world where we move this idea in. Take the bowl games, Put them in next year's calendar. Put it in the spring. New kids on campus, they just want to play football. Put it in the spring, put it in the summer, whatever. That's when the bowl game takes place. Now, I'm not for it. I want the bowl game in December, but it looks like there's not going to be a fix, and there hasn't been a fix presented for a playoff to be, or excuse me, a bowl game to be played at the end of the year, because that team or those players want to opt out. So if you put it at the beginning of the year, you're going to have new kids on campus, the kids that actually want to play football, and they're dying for it. They want to play this football. They do it in the spring.
Is it okay? So I will use, obviously you don't want to use a playoff game. So I'll use Texas, Michigan.
Yeah.
Should be a pretty good bowl game, right? Two teams that were just on the edge of being playoff teams.
Yeah.
So they would play, that would be their 8A game? Or are you saying that's like a preseason game? Or does that actually count towards next season? Because then it's not the same players.
It's not the same players, okay? Because that's the whole thing, is you're going to get the new kids on campus, so they have no want to either opt out.
Because I think both of us agree that's actually not a great idea.
No, I don't think it's a great idea, only because I don't know where you would put the scheduling wise, right? Just like you said, you're going to have different players on campus. So, let's just put, for example, like you were saying, if Arch Manning would go pro, which I think he's coming back.
He said he's coming back.
Yeah. So in this scenario, I'm just going to say if Arch is going pro, okay, because then you would have a whole situation where, he wouldn't be the quarterback in that bowl game.
Right, yeah.
Even though the reason you got the bowl game is because Arch Manning was a quarterback. That's the reason I don't like this, okay? You have a reason why you get to this bowl game, but yet your reason's not there. So what happens when you're in this huge bowl game that at one point when it existed defied a lot of stuff? Now, it wasn't in the college football playoff, but it was just on the cusp. Okay, talking about Pop-Tart Bowl. That's big now, okay?
Just
so what happens?
It's only big because we think the mascot's awesome.
Yes, okay, so Pop-Tart Bowl, okay, we're going to look at it, right? And we're going to say, okay, we got USC and we got Texas over here, right? Okay, the problem is Lincoln Riley goes and takes the job at Michigan, okay? Almost all the players leave. Okay, USC is back in rebuild mode. Okay, and they have a terrible roster, terrible team. This team is in shambles. Now you're going to have a game that was once a huge, impacting. There's skill makers. There's NFL draft picks everywhere. There's nobody there. Okay, you got Texas versus USC, but Texas is fully loaded, ready for a national championship run the next year, and USC's in shambles.
All right, I'll take that idea and tweak it a little bit. So let's get rid. First of all, I think my idea of getting rid of the 6-6 bowl game. Yeah, you went 6-6. You didn't win.
Yeah,
you got a tied record. Have a nice day. You have a winning record. You get to play in a bowl game.
Okay.
So I want to go ahead and get rid of 12 bowl games right there. I would even allow you to argue. You got to be 8-4. Let's actually get the real teams in. Okay. Now, is that going to hurt some of these little guys and everything? And ESPN doesn't have as many bowl games to put on TV. Fine, whatever. I'll go a step further, because I've always complained about, why do I know Alabama's schedule for 2036 already? I shouldn't know that we're already playing at Lane Stadium for Enter Sandman 2036. I'm not looking forward to that game at all, he said.
We've been looking for the West Virginia game for the past 10, 15 years. That's been on the schedule for next year. Guess what? It got taken off a couple months ago, or like a month ago.
If Alabama plays at Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia, I will be there.
And when is this? 2036.
2036.
So I will be. Let's see. 22. That's 11 years. I'll be 33 at the time.
I'll be there if you need me. I'll be 53.
So I'm sitting here at 22 trying to do commentary on a game that's happening when I'll be 33.
Yes. I will also be getting AARP letters in the mail. So Pops will be over there with a magnifying glass and a cane to be able to talk to us about it. But what if we had more of a bowl game type system set up for the preseason? So not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Say, take the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Okay.
Why not we move it to September 1st? And they get to announce who's playing in the Pop-Tart Bowl in July.
So that was the original, because that was the original thing that I heard. Let's put it at the beginning of the season. Replace, had to go along with Labor Day weekend, I think. But anyways, line it up with calendar, all that stuff, right? The thing was put it on week 0.
Right.
But again, we're back to the situation of the
Well, it wouldn't
players that
be
helped them get there are now gone.
well, it wouldn't be that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Texas versus Michigan. It would be whoever the Pop-Tart Bowl decides they want to bring in. And if your team was at least 6-6 last season, you're eligible to play in that week 0.
Yeah.
It's another game. It's another game that counts because now we're talking about the 2026 season, and Texas and the Pop-Tart Bowl decides to pick Texas and Michigan.
But how much does this game truly matter? Is this a game that's going to go on the record?
Absolutely.
It's going to go towards statistics? Because that would be the argument. If it doesn't matter, why would the players play it? Right? Why would the team plays it in? Why are we risking injuries a week out of the season?
Yeah, it's now week 1.
Yeah.
So you're not even going to know who Alabama's week 1 opponent is until, like I said, like June. The Pop-Tart Bowl is going to announce live from whatever city the Pop-Tart Bowl is in.
Yeah.
Alabama is going to play Tulane. Yeah, Alabama's going to play Indiana. In a rematch.
Yeah.
When they got to them to pick who their players were. If the Rose Bowl wants to have a game on September 1st, we can put them in order, the most important, and they get first pick. All right, who do you want? Well, we want, we have ties with the SEC and the Big Ten. We're going to pick Alabama and Michigan. Okay, cool. Go for it. It's the beginning of the season. We now know Alabama's first game of 2026 is Michigan at the Pop-Tart Bowl in sunny Jacksonville, Florida, wherever the Pop-Tart Bowl is.
So Carl hitting us up on YouTube. Don't need the bowl games, just have a bigger playoff.
Yes.
Okay. You're all for that. I say no to that. I mean, if you want to push where if you're going to expand this thing to 24 teams, this is where I would say move the bowl games out of December.
Okay. All right. So let's have a little friendly banter here.
Yeah.
Why are you against expanding the bowl, the playoff?
I don't, because I'm sitting here in this situation, right? Okay. I'm thinking, I've seen this at 2 teams during the BCS era. I've seen this at 4 teams. We skipped 8 teams, which I think we should have tried. Okay. Or 10. 12 was always too much in my mind. 16 is definitely too much. 24 is way out of the possibility for me.
Okay. Why?
Because I'm sitting here saying, okay, I saw it when there was 1 and 2, and that's what mattered. You had 1 loss in the regular season. You're not making that national championship. I've seen that. Okay. You put it to 24 teams. You want to just say, let's completely take anything out of, okay, you can lose 4 games and now make the college football playoff with 24 teams in the playoff. You're sitting here saying you can lose 4 games and be fine. Absolutely hate it. That's never a thing, right? Okay. So, but then again, we've been sitting in this situation. We're at 4 teams and we were saying, well, let's just up this thing to 8, right? Those teams on the cusp, they can get in. We don't have this argument anymore. You're still going to have the argument.
Oh, okay? 100% you're going to still have the argument.
So when you're sitting at 24 and then we're discussing 25, 26, and 27.
We do this in March when we talk about 69, 70, 71, and 72.
March is different, okay?
My argument was we're always going to argue about the next 3.
We always are. And every time it says, well, it's going to get rid of that. It's not going to get rid of that.
No. And we know it's not.
But back to your point in March, right? Who was this today? And I forget who it was. I think it was the big football guy. I forget his name. He's a Big Ten guy.
Joel
Klatt had this argument, okay? Joel Klatt was saying, here's the thing about March Madness, okay? It was never about putting the best teams in, crowning the best team at the end of March, okay? It's always just who's going to be there at the end of March. Because if it was about the best team and we wanted the best 2 teams in the national championship, we would have them play at their home courts.
Right. We would have like the NBA does,
we would
7 games or whatever.
We would let George Mason, okay, we would let them come to a neutral court against the number one team in the or number one seeded team in the country. Let's just say it's Duke.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not going to let we're going to incentivize George Mason to try to get that Cinderella run.
Right.
So put him on a neutral court. Let's hope Duke has a bad game. Let's hope George Madison goes on a run and wins the next 3 games, 4 games, 5 games, 6 games. How far can this go?
I will
Football
tell you.
isn't that. That's why the whole argument with Tulane and James Madison, they're right. They shouldn't be in this playoff,
Right,
but
yeah.
they're trying to avoid really being sued.
Right. Yeah. Litigation. I will say this as far as the Cinderella. We, the viewers, love a Cinderella until the Sweet 16. If you look at the actual number of eyeballs who watch the Final Four, when you get one of these Cinderella teams in it, the eyeballs go down.
Mm-hmm.
When it is the 1, 2, 1, 3 seed, your Final Four is 1 versus 2 and 1 versus 3. I got the opportunity to go to a Final Four, most amazing sporting event I've ever been to. I've been to 3 different national championships in football. I went to a Final Four game. Absolutely amazing situation with that. The eyeballs are on. People want to see the best teams play. We love the Cinderella story, but we want them to lose in that second weekend so that Kentucky and Duke and Kansas and Alabama and Georgetown and UConn play each other. We don't want the George Mason in there. The reason I think we expand the playoff to 8, I've never been a fan of 24. I do think 24 is a little too much. Yeah. I think the NFL has figured it out with the 7, and everything. I'm willing to go to 16. I think 16 is the right number. And then you have to get rid. I want to personally get rid of the automatic qualifying for the little guys. I would say, hey, if you're a conference champion and you're in the top 20, yes, you're guaranteed in.
So real quickly though, to the point of, you're saying the automatic bids, the automatic qualifier stuff, the top 5 conference champions and stuff. Okay. So in college basketball, like we were saying, it has never been about, let's get the best 2 teams in the national championship.
Right.
Never has it been
the best television.
Okay. Let's get the best television out of this. We want the Cinderella story. It's never been about that. In college football, fans do not give one single flying crap about getting Tulane or James Madison into the national championship. That is not college football. The fans want the best game. The fans want the best 2 teams in the country to be facing off in the national championship. And that's always been the argument. You will never lose that argument.
That is way less of an argument if it's only Tulane.
Yes. The
fact that this season we got Tulane and James Madison, we're looking at this and going, Oregon has some people think Oregon has a cakewalk to the championship.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know when you want to bring up the brackets and talk about that. But yes, Oregon gets to play at home, so they get a home game. They don't have to travel. They get money, all that, and then they get to go play against Texas Tech, which is the 4 seed. There's some argument to be made. Would I rather have a home game than sit at home for another week? And it's going to be real interesting when we get to that point.
We saw last year, the top 4 seeds in the playoff, they lost.
But that was because 2 of the top 4 seeds
were Boise State and Arizona State. Yeah.
Which should have never been the case. So hopefully this new, hey, you're the 4 best teams, you get a bye, solves some of that.
Well, which is my argument of, let's just 1 through 12. That's why we just need to rank it 1 through 12. 1, the fans, generally, that's what they want. And I'm talking general basis, not going into anything specific.
Are we talking what the fans want or what's actually plausible? Because those are 2 totally different things.
You can't get rid of the group of 6 with a plausible argument, right?
You have to have, my personal opinion, when you go to 16, is you still have that automatic qualifier, but we put more stipulations on it.
Yes.
You have to be in the top. If we go to 16, you have to be in the top 20. If you're number 19 and you won your conference, I would even say this. I don't care if there's 8 conference champions all in the top 20. They're in the playoff. If you're a conference champion and you're in the top 20, you're in. but you got to be in the top 20. And if you're not if you're a conference champion and you're outside the top 20, sorry.
I bring it back to the Notre Dame argument because I don't think the committee or the ADs, whoever made this agreement with them, the MOU with them, saying if they're in the top 12, they get in the playoff. I think that moves us and pushes us toward the direction of the committee saying, okay, that's fair because we're going to get rid of all this stuff next year anyways.
Right, yeah. That's 100%. Yeah.
We're going to completely get rid of the automatic qualifiers. So if you're in the top 12, okay, cool. Fine. Yeah, we're done with this. We didn't want to deal with this because this is how it's going to be in the future anyway. So we'll go ahead and give you the MOU. Okay. I just think that's the direction they're moving toward. Or there's going to be 16 and we won't have this argument anyways.
Right. I personally think we're going to 16. I would love to see 16. I would love to see this weekend, tomorrow night, Alabama, Oklahoma so we would have 16. There would be 8 games this weekend.
Yeah.
So Alabama, Oklahoma, and Oregon, James Madison are going to be Friday night. James Madison is at Oregon. That's going to kick off at like 10 o'clock Central Eastern time because let's be honest, nobody cares. And then Saturday, we wake up at 11 a.m. and there are 6 more playoff games. The reason March Madness is so great, I don't care what anybody says. The reason March Madness is so great, the reason the number 1 day of the year that men have vasectomies is the Wednesday before the March Madness tournament is because that on that Thursday, I know that I can wake up. I can call up my favorite pizza place. And if anybody wants to sponsor the show, I will call you my favorite pizza place. I can call them up and have a large pizza delivered to my house. And at noon 05, Charles Barkley is going to tell me that we're fixing to go to tip-off of the first game. And I get 16 amazing basketball games back to back to back to back until sometime after midnight when the last one goes off. And I get to go and crawl into my bed and sleep like a little baby and then wake up Friday morning and do it all over again.
You know, what's funny is that's one of the reasons I love March as well, because I can sit there at work, flip on the TV. I don't have to change the TV the whole day.
Yeah.
I could sit there in the studio and do that completely while making schedules for the next day.
Yeah.
Flip it on. I've got some entertainment to watch while I do it.
I take off the Thursday and Friday of the opening weekend every year. I've done so for the last, I can't tell you how long. I can tell you, other than the year of COVID, for the last 6 years, I have watched at least part of every game of March Madness. All 5 games it is. Even if you count the play-in games, I watch at least a little part of those. And that's what makes it so great. So you telling me more football? Yes, please. I will take more football. I understand what you're saying, that it does take away from some of the regular season. And it's going to do that. But then you incentivize that fact of, hey, Alabama, yes, if you lose 4 games, you're in. But the problem is if you lose 4 games, you might be going and playing in Michigan in December in the cold, in the snow, and Michigan gets to host. But if you only lose 2 games, you get to host little James Madison, gets to come to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. You get to sell hot dogs. You get to sell tickets. You get to sell beer. And so there still is some incentive of the regular season.
I get it. I don't know if I'll ever be turned on this argument. I think we're okay at 12. I think it's too much anyways, but we're never going to be able to go backward. That's the whole thing with it, okay? I think you can make 12 better, though. And I think the start of that is doing the best 12 teams straight up no matter what.
But can you do that legally?
You probably cannot do that legally.
All right. So speaking of the 12, and do we want to talk about your craziness?
I am going to defend it. I said A&M winning the national championship.
You texted me and asked me, hey, what's your pick for the playoff? And I sent it back to you. Didn't even ask for yours. And then we're about 32 seconds from going live. And you're like, oh, here's my bracket. And I was like,
I don't think I have anything crazy on my bracket. I don't think it's terribly crazy.
Okay, so let's talk our brackets. Yep. Let's pull them up, and we'll go game by game.
So
if you go to our Facebook page, first of all, if you're listening to us right now, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell for the notifications. Take your best friend's phone, go onto the YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell, give them the phone back, tell them you love them. We appreciate every one of y'all listening and taking the time out today, but please hit the like and subscribe button. So let's start. We got Alabama, Oklahoma. I think we're both in agree. Actually, I know we're both in agreement that Alabama is going to figure out a way to get out of Norman, Oklahoma with a win.
We're both in agreement on that. Okay. I think we're agreeing Oregon beating James Madison.
It's going to be a blowout, but yeah.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Tulane losing to Ole Miss.
Yes.
Okay. This is where I think we may have differentiated on Texas A&M and Miami.
We both have Texas A&M.
Okay. So we both have Texas A&M in that regard.
We don't have to pick them today, but do you think that game's close, or do you think Texas A&M runs away with it?
I think it's close.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying Miami's a bad team. I've just seen better. I've seen a better performance from Texas A&M. You know, even with the late loss we saw in the season from them, I just think Texas A&M is a better team than Miami.
Okay.
I think they've had, really just a stronger team throughout the year. And I've seen Carson Beck on his worst games, and I've seen DJ Reed on his worst games. I like DJ Reed better than Carson Beck on his first.
And it's at A&M. So I think I think it could. I think the final score might look worse than the actual game was.
Yes, 100%.
All right.
So okay.
Second round,
quarterfinals. So Oregon, Texas Tech is what we have in our brackets. I have Texas Tech moving on. I think you do as well.
I also have Texas Tech.
Okay. We both went heavy Texas Tech on this. Alabama. I have that wrong. It is Alabama and Indiana. I put Oregon instead of IU on there.
You have Alabama losing to Oklahoma and then winning
against. I have Alabama beating Indiana in the second round. You do as well.
I also have. I think
there's a strong push.
I think there's some injury. If we're healthy,
yes.
I think there's some injuries that they've already said are completely out at Indiana. I think it could. I think 3 weeks of rest may be too much.
Okay. All right. Ole Miss, Georgia in the second round. I have Georgia moving on.
I've already seen this game. I think Georgia's better today than they were then.
I think Ole Miss is
worse today than they were then.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So Texas A&M, Ohio State. I have Texas A&M winning this. You have them losing.
I have the defending national champions beating Texas A&M. I have watched Ohio State. I have watched Texas A&M.
I have too.
Okay.
All right. I just think A&M.
So that's our big
roll with this.
So far, that's our biggest disagreement. Let's move on.
Other disagreement. Okay, we have Alabama and Texas Tech playing at the next game.
I have Texas Tech winning that game.
I have Alabama winning that game.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong. I think Texas Tech, phenomenal team. I think they're a really good built team out of the Big 12. Okay. Granted, they're outspinning everybody in the Big 12. Okay. But that doesn't take away from the performance we've seen on the field. Jacob Rodriguez, he's a beast. I think this game could be tossed up 50-50.
My disagreement is obviously, for those of you who call me an Alabama homer, it is hard to win a third consecutive game. Texas Tech would have only had to win.
My tiebreaker in this scenario was the schedules both teams faced. Alabama has the stronger schedule. Okay. I think when it comes down to experience and big games,
I appreciate that answer.
I think when it comes down to experience in big games, I think Alabama has that advantage. So I took Alabama in this matchup.
I appreciate that answer.
Okay, so next round, I have Georgia and Texas A&M. You have Georgia and Ohio State.
Yes.
You have Georgia taking that.
Yes.
I have A&M taking it.
So
against Georgia.
So just so that I know, I know we're in the Angel Share garage. I've had a pour of delicious bourbon from Pops, who's not with us today.
You are not drunk. I actually did pick Texas A&M to win the whole thing.
You have A&M versus Alabama in your championship game, going to Miami.
Yeah.
And then Texas A&M winning the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Just to clarify.
So this is where we really differentiate, because we have two separate national championships. You have Texas Tech and Georgia, which you took Georgia in the national championship. I have Alabama and Texas A&M, of which I took the Aggies in the national championship.
I'm not sure that I have words for you right now.
I take a team over Alabama. One, I didn't pick them against Auburn. And you and Pops both scolded me for it, okay? And it was more of rat poison than anything, and I just stuck to my guns on it, and Alabama took the victory. Now I'm sitting here saying I'm putting Alabama in the national championship with Texas A&M beating them.
I hope you're mostly right.
It's a surprise and a half. I don't think it's too far to the realm of possibility for A&M to beat Alabama, first of all, with how Alabama's been playing. Now, I think Alabama could go on a run when healthy, and that's what I'm putting into this playoff.
Okay.
When they're healthy, Alabama can win these games. And guess what? We've seen them win 3 ranked games in a row. We saw it this season, 4, okay? So they can go out here and win 4 ranked games in a row. Now, I get it. The whole argument about that whole thing. Alabama did win 4 ranked games, but the record against other opponents that those opponents had was not strong. It didn't turn out strong at the beginning of the season. That's not Alabama's fault. When they beat those teams, they were playing like a top 25 team. Alabama, I've seen it with my own eyes this year. They have won those 4 straight ranked games in a row. They can do it in the playoff. They're the only team that has proven to me that they can do that. So how am I not going to put Alabama in the national championship?
So here's my biggest disagreement with your bracket.
Yeah.
17 weeks ago,
yeah,
as we started this, everybody was talking about who would be in their playoff and everything, blah, 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 blah. And I made a simple comment that I will stand by today. That I put Texas in the bracket and that Texas was going to win the whole daggum thing, if I remember correctly, because my argument was for Texas to make it to the playoff and Texas to make it to the championship game, Archie had to be that man. So my biggest disagreement with you is for Alabama to make it to that championship game, Ty Simpson has to be that man.
Yes.
And if
100%.
Ty Simpson has been that man for 3 weeks, Alabama beats Texas A&M.
Yeah.
100%. So my biggest disagreement with you is not that Texas A&M beats Georgia and Ohio State and whoever else they may have to play. My biggest argument with you would be if Alabama makes it to that point, Alabama's beating Texas A&M. My problem is I haven't seen Ty be that guy for the last like 4 or 5 weeks. Do I think he can be that guy to beat Oklahoma? Absolutely. Do I think he can be that guy to go to the Rose Bowl where Alabama's going to make a huge deal about it? I think we're actually under a tornado warning right now.
We enter a tornado. So let's do this because we are in an unsafe area for tornado warning. All right. So real quickly, we're going to end off the show. We got very bad, severe weather right now here in North Alabama. We're going to do pick-ems real quick for tomorrow's game.
Okay.
Alabama, Oklahoma.
I got Bama.
All right. Roll Tide. We'll take it. Roll Tide. All right, guys. This has been Off the Bench. Thank you guys for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. We're going to be with you Saturday, normal time, 9 a.m., live on 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville, as well as here on YouTube. We'll be on the road. Richie will be joining us over the phone. We should have a good show lined up for Saturday, really recapping Alabama, Oklahoma, and looking toward the other college football playoff games that are happening later on Saturday. Guys, this has been the Off the Bench College Football Show. We'll be back next week. We'll be back Saturday.
Hit the like and subscribe button.